I'm Jane Applegath. Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone. What if the secret to unlocking your heart's deepest desires wasn't in a vision board, but in the very walls, corners, and the energy of your home? And what if by shifting the energy of your environment, you could rewrite the story of your life starting today? Laura Vida has spent 3 decades proving that our homes aren't just where we live, they're living, breathing reflections of our inner world. As a spiritual psychologist, a feng shui expert, and founder of Interior Alchemy, Laura has spent 3 decades helping people transform their spaces into powerful catalysts for harmony and abundance. A certified red ribbon professional with the International Feng Shui Guild, Laura is also a seasoned interior designer, geomancer, and an international top selling realtor who has guided architects, designers, and private clients. Having taught feng shui at museums, hospitals, and universities, she is also a keynote speaker, writer, a contributor to top publications, and an instructor of the Rebounding in Sedona, Arizona. Today, Laura's practice blends feng shui, geomancy, holistic health, and spiritual psychology into a transformative approach she calls interior alchemy. This is where she teaches how clearing our spaces creates a path to joy, vitality, and the freedom to live fully. Welcome, Laura. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks, Jane. I'm excited to be here.
Well, likewise, I can't wait to delve in. You have got so many interesting backgrounds and expertise. So let's get started with the personal spark. What first drew you to feng shui and spiritual psychology? And when did you realize that this was your life's calling?
Yeah, so I first became interested, I guess, like in high school, maybe 10th grade, where we learned in a marketing class how you could affect people, how they felt, how quickly they ate, how much money they paid based on how you design the space. So, like with fast food restaurants, why they were red and yellow and hard materials because they wanted people to come in, eat quickly, don't get too comfortable, and spend money. I thought, wow, that's super interesting. Um, yeah, so that's what really got me started with kind of looking at how we can affect our space through the materials we choose to build. And then I also grew up in upstate New York. I'm a child of the Back to the Land movement of the 1970s. So I grew up on 55 acres of land in the middle of the woods where we cut down trees, built our own home, lived off the land. And one thing I learned was the old man across the street would come over with like a twig, a twig, a branch from a tree to locate our water. So he was dowsing, and I thought that was fascinating. And I thought I want to learn how to do that someday. It seemed like a magic trick to me. So that's where geomancy comes in, the feng shui with the space, and then spiritual psychology. I really got interested in because in all my studies of feng shui, nobody was talking about that aspect. So I would see people make changes in their environment. Something always would happen, but often I'd see them again years later and they would cycle back around to kind of the same situation. Like, yes, I got the relationship, but it turned out to be like the last one. Or yes, I got the job, but it's as draining as the last one. And I thought, well, why is that? And I started looking at patterns and belief systems to see how that played a part in how we attract experiences into our life. And what if you could put those two things together, which is where I came up with interior alchemy.
Mm, fascinating. I love the way your mind works. You're very, I do. I mean, because I do the same thing. You follow a path, and your curiosity is what sparks your research, and that's I'm always asking why, why,
Yes.
why, why. You ask my husband, he's like, "Oh my God, enough with the whys already." But But it is the source of creativity and innovation, is finding out, you said, well, why was that? So let me see where that path leads me, and excuse me, where we can make those changes so that they don't fall back into those old patterns. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that, because I'm very much like you. If something doesn't come together, the puzzle, there's a piece missing. It's like, well, there's got to be a piece somewhere, because it is a whole. It's not just pieces. And to
Right.
find those, we have to dig a little deeper. Wow. So this is going to be really fun. Well, that being said, out of curiosity, then, what feng shui question do you get the most?
Um, I think, okay, well, there's always probably the number one thing is about relationships. And then the second thing is about money. And then in that is also, where do I begin? How do I start? I'm overwhelmed. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have thought that. So
Yeah.
relationships and money, and how can we use our spaces to manifest that?
Exactly.
Interesting. Well, hopefully
Yeah.
you'll give us the secrets to those as we move along, because
Yeah.
that's, I'm sure, something that everyone's going to want to know. So tell us about qi. What is
Mm.
qi?
Okay, so qi is what feng shui is primarily focused on. Our goal is, okay, so qi moves through the earth. Um, much the way energy flows through the human body and animates it. Qi flows through the earth, animates nature, and it also feeds us as human beings on the earth. The goal of feng shui is to capture this qi, which is a life force, and encourage it to enter our home, move through the home so it nurtures and uplifts the occupants that live there. Yeah.
So then my question is, how do we capture qi?
Yeah. So any structure that we build around, like your home, okay, you build a home on the earth. So the chi flows the way water flows, it always flows in curves. We build a structure that's usually angular, right, or square, rectangular, and that changes the way the chi flows. So everything we build is changing the way the chi would naturally flow.
So then we are blocking it. We're blocking the flow.
Well, sometimes, well, no, we're not blocking the flow with what we build. We're changing the way it flows. So
Mm.
well, let's say this. We could be not inviting the chi into the home. So here it is moving through the earth. We cut down the trees, we changed the chi, right? We've built a structure, we've changed the chi. Now we're trying to reharmonize that energy that was already there naturally in our space. Same thing in the human body. So can we block chi in the human body? Yeah, sure we can. When we, overuse, we hurt ourselves or something, okay, we block chi there. So we go to an acupuncturist, they put in needles to make the chi flow again. Or we exercise, or we go for a walk, or we use breath. These are all ways of activating the chi in your body. Same thing in your home. So blocked, yeah, we can change the flow. It's already there. We're changing it through the structure.
So give me an example of how we can change the flow.
We can change the flow through, how we build our structure, through the elements that we use, kind of like I explained at the beginning, like how we affect the space with our building materials, with color, with our intention, with plants, with art, the occupants, everything affects the chi flow in a home.
Okay, therein lies the feng shui, I
Yes.
believe. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation, because I do understand that feng shui is about optimizing the energy within your dwelling, if you want to put it that way, your home, your house, your apartment, whatever that might be. And
Yeah.
so, what we're really doing is encouraging more qi, if I'm
Yes.
putting it in simplicity terms, and
Exactly.
activating that so that it continues to energize us and energize
Yes.
our spaces. Okay, Wonderful. Well, we mentioned geomancy at the beginning, which is a word I'd never heard, by the way. So, what is it and how is it used?
So, geomancy is the study of earth energies. So that includes dowsing for things like water or ley lines, which is any place where you have a crossing of um, lines of chi in the earth. They can sometimes have an energy that moves up or an energy that pulls in. So we're looking for these kind of things. We're also looking for the memory. So earth, layers of earth hold memory of what was there before. It's called predecessor chi. So I can look and see what was there and kind of if anything needs to be cleared or rebalanced. So that's geomancy. That's what it is. It's a study of earth energies. It includes dowsing. Um, I'm a map dowser. So I can work with people's spaces, homes, land by them giving me a map, just a drawing of their space. And then I can dowse it to see if there's any kind of energy that needs to be rebalanced or harmonized.
I'm fascinated. How do you douse? I mean, what does that
Oh,
entail?
I mean, I can find water or uh, kind of like the old man across the street with the twig. I can do it with a twig, but there's other modern, more modern equipment that we can use, like even like the electric companies. They will
Mm,
use copper dowsing rods to see where to make sure they don't hit water. So that's something that people use, and some people can just their bodies are so tuned that they can tell when they've crossed an area that's out of balance. They can feel it in their bodies. So I have a
mm,
bunch of different tools. It can be just a small little, like a pendulum, right? Or dowsing rods themselves if I'm working on a bigger space.
mm. Wow, I'm fascinated by, like you said, your neighbor who would have that sensitivity to feel it naturally.
Yeah.
That's just amazing, and I'm sure you've cultivated that as well.
Well, I think we all
Maybe.
can. I
Oh,
think we all
really?
do. So, yes. So, I've been a realtor also for 24 years, right? So I've been in thousands of homes. I'm an interior designer, a feng shui practitioner. I've been in thousands of homes with thousands of people. And it's really something that I have to turn on or off. Because if
Mm,
that sensitivity is always on, and I'm showing all these houses, I would just be like all, all the time thinking of everybody's stuff, and I'm there to do a job. So I think we're all sensitive that way to space. Sometimes we turn that off, and sometimes we turn it on. Like if you've ever walked into a space and you just have a funny feeling, like I don't know what
mm,
it is. This doesn't feel right. I think we've all experienced that. The space may look beautiful and perfect, but it doesn't feel good. So that's that sensitivity I'm speaking of. I'm just
mm.
honing a specific avenue.
Right. Yes. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are instances, I'm sure, in everyone's life where they've had that funky feeling and you're like, they say, I don't like it here. It doesn't resonate with me. There's something in the air, and it's like the other person is like, what's the matter with you? There's nothing going on here. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
interesting. So pay attention to that.
yeah.
That's really interesting. Well, you mentioned about the mapping. What is feng shui energy mapping and why is it important?
So I really feel like learning the map, understanding the map. I know it feels complicated to people, but it's really not. The map is what we use to diagnose the energy of a space. So it's an eight-sided trigram. I don't know if I can
Hmm.
show you. I can show you. So it's kind of it's this eight-sided trigram that you can spread out, you know, oh, there we go. And this map spreads out into your whole home or property or car or desk or whatever it is that you're feng shuiing with nine different areas that are equally divided. Each one of these areas represents a different part of your life. So you can have career, helpful people, clients, travel, health, relationships, money, recognition. So there's 9 different life areas. When you understand how to use the map, which is really not difficult, you can see what your home is projecting. So if you are trying to attract a relationship, you can go, oh, let's see what's going on in my relationship area. Oh, that's that space that I never use, or that's whatever it is you use that space for. Maybe it's not reflective of what you want in a relationship. But if you don't know what your space is projecting, you won't have the ability to be able to shift the energy. So the map shows you where it's located and what you can use to shift the energy.
Hmm. Okay, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. So I have this map, and
Yeah.
there's different categories in the map.
Mhm.
Is it like living room, dining, or what are the categories in the map? Like if you say that particular area, your desk area isn't projecting, say, um, financial freedom. I'm just putting something out there, or
Yeah.
money.
Okay. So let's use the desk, for example. Okay. So if your desk was broken down into 9 different areas, if you could just like crosshatch it, 9 areas, where you're sitting at the desk is the area that relates to your career. That's where your chair is. That's where you're sitting. And then your back right corner of your desk relates to relationships. Your back left corner of your desk relates to wealth. So that same map can spread out in your home using your front door like you would where you're sitting at your desk as your entrance, or a whole piece of land where you're using your driveway as your entrance. So the map spreads, it's almost like you hold it at your belly and it spreads out in front of you. Okay. So you can only enter your main entrance or where you're sitting at your desk or your driveway is only going to be at career, helpful people in travel, or knowledge, judgment, self-cultivation. There's only 3 areas it can be, and then it spreads out. Depends on if the entrance is more to the right or to the left.
Hmm.
I know it sounds kind of like what, but I have a video on my website that makes it super, super easy. I walk you through it and say, this is how you do it. It's really not difficult. If I could stand up and show you right now, I would, but I know they can't. I can't really
Wonderful.
do it.
Well, listen, I'm glad you mentioned that because there's something everyone go and check out the website because it sounds fascinating. And like you said, it's not that difficult. It's just having that visual to show you exactly what you're referring to. So, yes,
Yeah,
thank you. I kind of got the idea, but yes, the video would bring it all together, I'm sure. But thank you for
yeah,
that explanation.
you're welcome.
It sounds very helpful that everybody should, and you can just get these maps like anywhere or from your
Yeah,
site?
I mean, you can download a free one on my website. You can print it
Oh,
out, and you'll have the map, you'll have the colors that relate to each one of the areas, and a little instructions of how to use it. It's free.
perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. There you go. No excuses. We all need to feng shui our spaces now with the map. At least start there, right? Well,
Right.
thank you for that. What is spiritual psychology now, and how does it relate to feng shui?
So, spiritual psychology is looking at your life from a soul perspective. So instead of saying, why did this happen to me? And or I'm the victim of the situation, we're changing it to say, what was my soul trying to learn through this? Okay. And then we're looking at patterns, repetitive patterns, and seeing how they can be unraveled. So, yeah, so spiritual psychology just kind of removes the victim and kind of changes it to what was I trying to learn through this experience? Why did I go through this? Uh, where can I grow from this?
Right. Because our souls are here to grow, to
Exactly.
come
This is our
through.
school. Yeah. What
Yes.
was my curriculum in that when I had that job? What was my curriculum? We all have a life curriculum, and things that we continue to learn and grow through. Relationships can be, I mean, that's been my curriculum. And earth school relationships. So yeah, so by looking and seeing, what was it I learned through that? Because there's always something, there's some strength that comes out of it that your soul was trying to teach you.
So I have a question in that vein.
Mhm.
When you stop and pause and you ask yourself that question, what if the answer doesn't come to you right away? Like sometimes there's just nothing, and you're like, okay,
Right?
I'm waiting.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you suggest people do?
Yeah, I mean, it helps to work with a spiritual psychologist so they can ask the right questions to get
Ah,
you to be more reflective. Um, a lot of clients will use journaling. I'll give them questions, and at first it's nothing, like nothing comes out.
mhm.
But then eventually, because your intention is to get clear, a part of you takes over and you'll be writing things that you can't believe what's coming out, and you'll be able to connect the dots. Um, we work through a process of forgiveness, self-forgiveness, looking at judgments, how we've judged the situation, how we've judged another person, how we've judged ourselves, and then get underneath that to what is the truth of this person, what's the truth of me, what was my soul trying to learn, and then reframing it through that lens. That's just kind of generally, I mean, it depends on what it is you're working on, but yeah, there's a whole process through it.
Right. Well, no, that's very helpful to know because a lot of individuals feel like they can go on this journey by themselves and they understand that it's why, they say, okay, this is happening to me for what reason? But they get stuck. And this is why the process is important, to ask those specific questions so that you start to open up the doors that are closed. Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes.
exactly. I
Yeah.
say that, a lot of people talk about forgiveness, and I think people misunderstand that, thinking that forgiveness means it's okay that that happened. And
Mm,
what forgiveness does is it takes you out of the victim role, which then brings your energy back.
mm,
But that's only one step. You really want to get to the resolution. And the resolution is looking at through what happened through a spiritual psychology lens. Again, what the soul was trying to learn, what it was that I was going through, how I needed to grow from that experience. That is what that resolution is what makes it so you never have to repeat the pattern again. When you resolve it and you see the truth from a soul level, the pattern ends.
right. Yes. That makes a lot of sense. And I love that you said it brings your energy back
Mhm.
because that's what's missing to move from in my view, that's what's one of the keys that are missing to move forward is your energy is blocked. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that insight. I see. I'm curious. I just love to
Yeah, great question.
yeah, thank you. I love to unravel these things because they're questions that I often have too. But thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense. So,
Mhm.
what is there ever a time when feng shui doesn't work?
It's such an interesting question. No, there's not. There's never a time that it doesn't work because we are always affecting the energy around us with our
Mm,
intention, subconsciously or consciously. So when we're doing feng shui, we're using our intention and some kind of a movement, some kind of a placement. We are shifting the energy. That's just how it works. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to work out exactly the way that you think it did. You've shifted the energy, but sometimes you haven't shifted here. You haven't
mm,
shifted here. And that's when it gets back to those patterns. So it's most powerful when you can get underneath it and look at, okay, you know, do I believe I'm lovable before I, hang a crystal or whatever, wind chime in my relationship area? Because that's not going to change your life. If you have a belief that's holding you back from an experience, the crystal, wind chime, placement, color, feng shui, whatever, it's it will shift the energy, but it may not be the way that you thought.
Right. Yes. I could see that, how it sets you back into the patterns. It's almost like you need to feng shui your space, but then you need to practice or connect with a spiritual psychologist to get inside the head and the heart to completely cleanse and
That's
move that
the last.
energy.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the lasting, and it depends on the person and situation. A lot of people have done, years of counseling, or they understand what went wrong and whatever, or why, whatever it was that happened in their life. And they're ready to make those shifts in their space so that
Mm.
what they are projecting out to the universe is matched. It's what comes back to you. Whatever you're projecting out is what comes back. So they've already got that part inside. So not everybody needs to do all of it. It just depends on, if you feel that you keep repeating the same patterns, then we need to get underneath it.
Mm. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. I love that explanation.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And here's a everyday magic question.
Yeah.
For every woman juggling busy lives, what's one simple change that they can make in their home today to instantly shift their energy?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you two answers. One is people can find more challenging. Let's start with that one. I feel like women give so much of themselves in so many areas of their life, and they don't have a place to recharge, a place that is just theirs. I don't care if it's a corner of your bedroom where you can close the door and you cannot be interrupted, or an office, or some place that is sacred to you that you can recharge, that doesn't have kids' toys in it, or doesn't have, stacks of your partner's paperwork or whatever. You need some place that's your own. I feel strongly about that. If for whatever reason that is just not possible for you, put your bare feet on the earth.
Mm.
That will magically shift your energy instantaneously. Bare feet on the earth. Nature is our greatest healer. And by putting your feet on the earth, you're aligning with that heartbeat, that pulse, that electromagnetic frequency that brings us back to center, quickly and easily. So, those are my two tips.
Mm. I love that. I love it. The space for yourself and then putting your bare feet on the earth. And I often say, I've read this recently. It's coming. It's actually been featured quite a bit in recent months, or this year. I'm not sure why. It must be the energy, but they
Yeah.
say that if you put your bare feet on the earth, that you get the electrons immediately, the energy from the earth's source. And I said to my sister, I said, no, no, not the artificial turf. You can't do that. You have to put it on real grass or real
Yeah.
dirt or whatever. Does
Yeah.
it work in sand too, like on the beach?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Sand is the best.
yeah.
Sand is that's why you feel so good when you're walking on the beach, because you're getting the negative ions that come from the ocean, and that, the water is a conductor. So the
Yeah.
energy is extra strong there. That's why you feel so good and so balanced. You're
Mm.
at the beach and you feel great when you leave. That's why.
Oh my gosh. And that just hit me. I never thought of that till I was talking with you. I was like, okay, I get the earth. And I said, wait a minute. I love to walk on the beach. And in fact, I don't know anyone who doesn't. I mean, even if they're not a swimmer, it has nothing to do with that. It's just the sound of the water, the sand beneath your feet. It's
Yeah.
just so calming. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I've got to tell my friend who just moved near the beach. I've got to
Yes.
tell her for
That
sure.
that's how people recharge. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, how do our beliefs then and emotions show up in our physical space without us even realizing?
So many ways, so many ways. Your home, you really is like a giant vision board that projects what your beliefs are. So just like simple things like people can hang artwork too high. Sometimes if you have to look up to the artwork, that's signifies that your goals are out of reach. That's
Mm,
just a simple thing. Um, Having a lot of clutter. It's almost like clutter creates chaos. It invites chaos. So again, back to the map. That's why it's fascinating to know wherever your most of your clutter in your home is. If you can see what area of your life that's affecting, that's empowering.
mhm,
So yeah, every single thing you have holds an energy.
mm.
And when we let go of things, we release the energy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm a big believer in that for sure. And clutter, like you said, chaos. I say it creates static, which is the same. It's you
Yes.
don't have that flow. You just it's all staticky. And it's no wonder if you come to work with a messy desk, you just right away you're overwhelmed. It's like
Yes.
you haven't even started your day and you're already triggered. And it's yeah. Maybe sometimes it's just best to take your arm and sweep it across and throw everything out. It's like some people just can't do it without their junk. And it's like, really? I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
Lord. You know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Those are really interesting, simple little things that people can take note of in their house and or their workspace and say, yeah, maybe it's time for me to do some cleaning and feel my I know that when I clean out my closet, I feel relieved. I feel much better. I'm like, oh, I got rid of all, and I recycle it. I send it to, so there. I always say, I've already worn this. I'm not interested in it anymore, and it's time for someone else to enjoy it. That's my attitude when I'm giving away or just
Yeah.
recycling clothes because it just
Yeah.
and it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better because I've cleared out this, I've made space, but it also makes me feel better that I'm giving someone else an opportunity. Because I have friends that just can't part with things. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I said, you have an issue.
Yes.
You have
I,
an issue.
I want to give you a story.
Okay.
Well, these are about this. That these are some of the most fascinating things that I've seen. Um, okay, so I worked with a woman who had changed her front door to okay, let me start over. I pulled up to her house. I could not figure out how to get into the house. I followed the pathway to the front door, and there's like no steps there. I'm like, okay, I must have to go into the side entrance or something. Speak with her, and she's suffering from TMJ.
Mm.
And what was fascinating is that they removed the steps to the front door and sealed it off because they just didn't use it anymore. Well, your front door relates to your jaw. It's called the mouth of chi. So she effectively blocked the energy of what comes into her life, her career, and her jaw. So the remedy there was so she wasn't aware of this. This is one of these things that how your environment affects you, you have no idea. Well, she was suffering a lot. So the remedy, of course, was to put the steps back, open the front door back up, which they did. And they planted flowers and added solar lights. And she ended up getting a new job where she was teaching, coaching. She ended up becoming a coach and no more TMJ.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
that's fascinating to me. There was a man I worked with who really wanted to be in a relationship. Okay. Sometimes people say this, but they are not aware of what their space is saying. It might be something very different, and his space was definitely speaking differently. So okay, when you're looking at relationship, there's the relationship area of your home that we learn about the map. Okay, that's one. Also, your main bedroom reflects your relationship. So we're looking at another level, another area. You had to go up a spiral staircase. to get to his bedroom with open risers, which was okay, kind of uncomfortable. It's, spiral staircases like that are always a little uncomfortable. And then there was his bed, and he was facing, so his head, when he came up the stairs, the back of his head would be where the stairs were, and his feet were towards the wall. And in front of the bed was a big hope chest. Like, I hope I'm going to get somebody in this bed someday. It's like wow, he didn't even see what he was saying. So we had to remove the hope chest, which was this big, heavy thing filled with old stuff, and turn the bed around. So when someone comes up the stairs, you're ready for them. He wasn't
I
aware
love
of what he was projecting. So there's so many ways that your house says something different than what it is that you really want.
Yeah, in that case, it's like, wow, whoever taught him to put the bed at the entrance with the headboard? I mean, that's just weird,
Yeah, that
don't you think?
yeah. Yes, yes, and in fact,
Oh,
he did get a relationship, but he's one of the people that I saw a few years later and cycled back around to, "Oh, it didn't work out."
mhm,
Yeah,
yeah,
because what was really going on that caused you to set your bedroom up like that? There's more
yeah,
to that story, but that's what made me think, there's more to feng shui than just getting your furniture placement right.
oh yeah, yeah. There definitely is, because otherwise that would be like, whew, you'd make millions upon millions of dollars going into
Yeah, yeah,
people's houses. Say, I'm going to fix everything in your life. Just let me move things around in your house. Okay, go for
yeah,
it. I mean,
yes,
you would have clients coming out your ears,
yes,
you
yeah,
know, because
yeah,
God knows we all need help. So that's interesting. Thank you.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what are the top three then feng shui tips? But speaking of bedrooms, well, maybe that's one of them, since that's where we rest, dream, and reset.
Yeah. Okay. Mirrors. Mirrors are a big
Mm,
problem in bedrooms because think about it. Mirrors move energy. So when you have like mirrored closet doors or a big dressing mirror, it's too much energy moving in the bedroom. Bedrooms need to be more yin, which is internal, quiet spaces. Um, so that makes things kind of chaotic when you've got big mirrors. That's one thing. There's something called the command position to sleep in, which can be helpful for people who have trouble sleeping. Command position means your head is against a wall and you have the broadest vision in front of you.
mm,
So you're prepared subconsciously. If someone was to break into the bedroom, you could see them coming. If the door is behind you, you wouldn't have time to react. And subconsciously, your body feels that. And then electromagnetic field. It is a real thing. Do not bring your cell phone to bed. And if you do, put it far away from you. You're going to have to get up to turn off the alarm. But you do not want that because when you're sleeping, the auric field of your body, your energy field is repairing itself and your body is healing. If instead it has to fight the energy of an electromagnetic field or too many big mirrors, your body's not healing. And over
mm.
time, your health will go down. So yeah, those are the I turn off I have my router at night, every night. It's important to me, but just don't have electronics in your bedroom.
Not even in your bathroom that's attached to your bedroom. Just
Depends on where
it,
your head is.
okay.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
if on the other
Okay.
side of the wall behind your head is your
Yeah.
router or something, yeah, that's not good.
No. But okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's the fix that I think 99% of individuals need to do. I know a lot of
And
people who have their charger right by their nightstand, and
we
that's
don't
where
do
they
that.
put their phone. Yeah.
Yeah, don't no, that's no. It's a definite no, no. Yeah, that charger, anything that has big plugs, anything near your head, it's really important not to, you don't want that. You can put your router on a timer, like, lights that turn on and off, like when you're out of town. Same thing. You can set it to turn off at whatever, 10 o'clock at night and turn on at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you will sleep so much better. If you're trying to heal from anything, I highly recommend that.
And even if you're not, I mean,
Even if you're
you
not,
said
you'll sleep better.
sound, sound or
Yeah,
sleep, and we all need. I mean, sleep is one of the big deficits in our society. Because we have the monkey mind, and everybody's under stress, et cetera, et cetera. But why add to it when you could do something so simple to just
simple.
help your body, come into that state of rest? But thank you. Those are great tips. And I never realized that I've heard about the mirror before, but I didn't know that it gives off energy. That a mirror
Oh,
gives off.
yeah.
Is
Mirrors
it
move energy.
really? Is it
Mhm.
when you just look at them, or just by being there, they
They
move
move
energy?
energy in a direction.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, because it's reflecting back. It's moving the energy back to
okay.
whatever way that it's facing. So it's just creates more like that static that you were talking about. That's how
Yeah.
it feels energetically. Super simple solution is to just cover the mirror at night if you're in a
Mhm.
hotel. I mean, I am the one taking the towels and hanging them over the mirrors in my hotel rooms. Or you can have a curtain rod if you have mirrored sliding doors that are a closet, and you can just close the curtains at night.
Mm, okay, I love that simple fix. Thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, energy drain versus energy gain. And we were just talking about some of these. What are common design mistakes? And maybe we've answered this question that quietly drain a woman's energy, and how can we flip them into sources of strength?
I think that sacred space thing is really important. You need a space to recharge. Sometimes
Mm.
people, it'll be a window seat, even just something simple, looking at nature. Um, Design flaws would be things like you have to, we're in the Southwest and you have to look at beams. And beams are this heavy energy that can become oppressive if it's pressing down on you because it moves energy, comes across, the chi comes across, hits the beam and goes down.
Mm.
So if you're sitting underneath it for a period of time, like at your desk, or you're sleeping with the beam, that's a design flaw. If they're rounded, okay. Square, it's too sharp of an energy. So yeah, those that's just a couple of design flaws. Here's a really major design flaw that I came across. This might be my most memorable experience. Is I was called in to do a feng shui consult at a wellness center that was part of a hospital. They had acupuncture, massage, things like that. I came into the space, and as I'm assessing the space, I hear this thump, this thumping happening. And I said,
Mm.
What is that?" And, they say to me, "Oh, that's on the other side of that wall is the morgue. And that's where they're opening and closing the drawers. So you're hearing the thump."
Oh
I
my
thought,
God.
"Oh, kidding me. Like you can't be having
Oh,
acupuncture and having your whole energetic system open and then having like dead bodies coming in and out. Like that, there's nothing wrong with a dead body, but it can't be in juxtaposition with a healing center." So,
I'm
that
just
was a
like,
big
my jaw is like, I'm like, what? Even I would know that. I mean, it's like, really? That's just common sense. Oh my gosh. Did they
exactly.
move? I hope they
Well,
moved.
as a matter of fact, when you feng shui a space and you bring a space back into harmony, sometimes it lets go. It lets go
Mm.
of you and you move on to something else. I see this all the time. They became so successful that they got the funds to build a whole new wellness center. So a few years later, I got a call to come take a look and evaluate the property where they were going to build a wellness center. And here's where the patterns come up again. I go to the property and I see a big plaque that says, "Site of the battle between General Cook and the Iroquois Nation." Like, what?
I
Dead
knew
bodies
it.
again.
Oh, no.
People.
Somebody's channeling. Maybe the person in charge is really a ghost and they're trying to get back home. I don't know. That's just too weird.
Yeah, I
What are
know.
the chances of that happening? I mean, I
What
don't
are the
know.
chances of that happening? Totally.
They say there are no coincidences, so there's got to be something underlying there. Did they actually
Yeah.
build the
They
center
actually,
there?
yes, yes, they
Oh
actually
no.
did. We did some stuff to clear the land. I did work on the land first,
Oh
before
my
they built,
gosh.
and then maybe just bringing that kind of healing energy to the space. That land also helped, uh, return it to its original nature and kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Laura, I see a comedy. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, it's that truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, you
yeah.
couldn't make that up. First, they're beside a morgue, and then they're on top of a battlefield where people died. I thought it was going to be a cemetery, but I was close.
Oh, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This guy, whoever bought the land or was in charge of those locations, there's the individual you got to go to and find out what
Yeah,
is
true.
going on with you.
Yeah,
You know?
true, true, right.
Oh my
What
gosh,
should
that
be dead and buried that's still in your past?
exactly. We need to
Coming
have a
what's coming back
talk.
to haunt you? Yes,
Oh my God, that's gold. Though I have to tell you, thank you for sharing that story. That is
yeah.
really it's creepy and funny all at the same time. So thank you for that story. Spiritual meets scientific, and I'm really loving the science coming and proving now what all the ancients knew all along. So, with your background in psychology, how do you explain the why behind feng shui to people who are more skeptical?
Well, there's two ways to answer that also. First of all, I have learned that, I don't I just don't waste my time with people who are skeptical anymore. That comes with age and
Yeah,
practice. You
wisdom,
know,
wisdom.
yes, wisdom, exactly. Yeah, I just don't. Um, Here's the way feng shui needs to work, and I learned this the hard way. You can never go into a space and say, "Oh, you really need to feng shui this because blah 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 blah," because the other person is their energy is going to close. You just push them
Mhm.
away. So the way it needs to work is they need to come to me and say, "I need your help." Then I
Mhm.
offer the help. Then they pay me. Then the energy is right. Then it's balanced. However, the reason that feng shui is so powerful and works so well is because there's 6,000 years of a tradition
Mm.
behind this. So when you plug into that tradition, you're plugging into all of that energy to help you facilitate the changes that you want to make in your life. Same thing with whether you're saying the rosary or whatever practice that you're doing, yoga, or you're plugging into a belief system, and there's
Mm.
power from years and years and years of practice.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never would have thought that way, but you're absolutely right. Because it's like
Yeah.
I said, the ancients knew, they just weren't speaking our language, being it, oh, that's fooey, or maybe we were programmed to believe it was hooey when it really
Yeah.
wasn't, you know. So, and I love the fact that you said, I just don't waste my time, because yeah, it's a waste of your energy.
It is.
If they
Yeah.
want to be skeptical, say, well, go and do some homework and come back to me later.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Energy.
I don't have the time or the energy to teach you.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
wonderful. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Rumi. Um, you've probably heard of Rumi, but his one of my favorite quotes from him is, "Who you seek is seeking you,"
Yeah.
and that's the
True.
truth. That's the truth.
Yep.
That's why we always say we're here with a gift, and that gift is here to teach
Yes.
those that are seeking you. And that's why
Yep.
when they say there's so many coaches and I don't have a chance, or whatever it might be that you're interested in, it's like, no, because there is individuals out there who are seeking just you and your
Exactly.
gifts. Yeah, and
Yep.
your energy.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, the legacy of spaces. So, if every woman listening could redesign one area of her life through her environment, where should she begin? Begin.
Okay. Begin. Okay. This is really important. People get overwhelmed thinking that their space needs to be feng shui perfect in order for their life
Mm,
to work. That is not true. You only need to address what is up for you right now. So when you look at that map and you say, my career is what's up for me right now, you address that one thing, and then other things fall into place, other things shift. So that's that's how you start. Does that answer your question? There was another part to
yes.
your question.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's absolutely perfect because it's the taking the tiny steps. Because if you try to do it all at once, therein lies the stress and the overwhelm. So you said take one part of your life,
One part
focus
of your
on
life.
that.
Yes. And if it is one space in your home, it's going to be your entrance without
Mm,
question. Like you cannot activate a relationship if nobody can find you.
hmm,
You can't activate your wealth if the chi can't find you. It can't. So where your eye goes, the chi flows. So
mm,
the chi isn't going to flow into your home, the chi, which carries good luck, benefit, fortune, opportunities, if it can't find your entrance because your house is overgrown, or you've got tools or shoes piled up, or there's no clear pathway to the front door, or the door is stuck, or it's dark, all of these things. Your entrance is super important because it's how all good comes into your life.
mm. What if you have plants by your front door? I'm
Plants are
thinking for
great.
my, oh, good.
Plants are
Okay.
great because plants raise the chi. So color, fragrance, anything that draws the eye is where the chi is going to go.
Mm,
So
okay.
flags, whatever, so a wreath on your door, solar lights, a pathway, all of these things. It's if the plants are overgrowing your front door, that's a problem. You want to trim
Yeah.
back. Mhm.
Yeah. No, but that's good to know because that's with being in the Southwest that you have patio fronts often and you can put some potted plants there if you don't have the garden, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, and I've heard that you also want to clear out the shoes from your front entranceway because
Yeah.
that's like you said, blocking the chi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is true. However, a lot of people come in through their garage and not the front door. So I don't often see a lot of shoes at the front door, but I'll see them around the garage door. So, the garage entrance, if you come in through the garage all the time, you never use your front door, that's an issue. Okay, you want to use the front door, even if you're going out to get your mail. And if you don't use the front door to get your mail, open it up anyway. Open it up every day.
Mm,
Welcome in the chi. Make a conscious effort to do that, because the garage represents things coming to you around the way instead of directly to you, kind of coming in the back door, so to speak. So it can take longer.
I'm glad you touched on that because here in North America, especially for the West you go,
Yeah,
we tend to come in through the garage.
yeah,
So even if you're not using your front door to come and go, open it every day just to allow some of that chi to come in, that good energy. Oh, that's so,
yeah,
that is, yes, absolutely. Just open your door for a half
yeah.
an hour a day. Mind you, at 110, it might be a little difficult, but do it at night.
Oh, even just for a moment, it's your intention. You're just
Oh,
opening the door, welcoming the day. You're opening the door, going out to get your newspaper. You're just aware of I'm welcoming it in. It's just you're aware of it, but you don't have to keep it open all day or for hours or anything like that.
oh,
Just
okay.
your body going through it is activating the chi. It
Mm,
just you know, like all the
okay.
things that
Make
with
it,
the
make it,
plants,
make it
light,
one of,
whatever.
we're,
Yes, make it
right, one of
happy.
your rituals. Yeah, one of your rituals. You get up in the morning, you walk out, and the neighbors are going, okay, look, that's crazy lady over there. She walks in and out her door every morning.
Yeah, you should see my house. So here's a remedy to activate your entrance and allowing good things to come to you. If you want to bring that money, good luck, opportunity, benefit, whatever it is, when you buy yourself flowers and the flowers start to wilt or die, you don't want to keep the wilting dead flowers in the house. So you can take the petals and you start up at the street, come up your driveway or up your walkway, sprinkle them all the way up the steps to your front door. And you're creating, you're calling the chi in, and you're thinking that as you're sprinkling these flower petals. And here's the great thing is when people walk past your home and they see these flower petals, they think, oh my gosh, it must be her birthday or her anniversary, or they're celebrating something. So they're thinking something positive about you, which is then reinforcing good things coming to you. So it's kind of like including your whole neighborhood in it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fabulous. I'm so glad you shared that. That's magnificent. Women would, I can't imagine women not wanting to do that. And what a great way to use the petals of your flowers that have died.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm going
Yeah.
to share that with everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So tell us about your book, Piercing the Veil, a memoir of love across time.
Oh, yes. Okay. I didn't know you were going to ask about that. Yes. So I'm fascinated, if you can't tell by now, by patterns. And as I said, my curriculum was in relationships. Was. I think I resolved some of those patterns by now. But that was, I am fascinated by sometimes we repeat patterns because our soul is trying to learn something and it hasn't learned it yet. So if you've ever felt an attraction or repulsion from somebody that you've met instantaneously, I believe it's because you have history, a cellular history with that person. So the memoir is about me at a younger age that I married my past life captor, and I didn't know it until I started having these spontaneous memories of this person that turned out to be my husband. And my whole journey was to go back to these lifetimes and regain the pieces of myself that I had traded for power, for value, for love, um, and then complete that cycle with him and resolve it, and see the truth from a soul level of who this person was in my life and what that was that they were teaching me. So through this story, I'm teaching people how to do the same thing with relationships in their life, and how to get those pieces back so that they can live a fuller, complete life by seeing how I did it. Because it's not just a story about this is what happened, it's we're doing it. I'm doing it and you're seeing it. And this is what you can do too.
Right. Oh, sounds very interesting. Is that available on Amazon?
Well, right now it's actually with my agent looking for a publisher.
Okay.
Yes. So that's what these guys are doing behind me. That's my little feng shui remedy. These guys, I've had that forever. And every time I pull it out and hang it up, that I found it in an antique store, and something happens in my life. Like I don't even know. I've had it for probably 30 years. So I asked them to help me find the right publisher. So they're on it.
Oh, wonderful. They're your guides. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yes, well,
So
you'll have to let us know when it comes, when it's published and it's out there,
I will
because that sounds amazing. Um, if there was one message, Laura, that you could share with the world, what would it be?
be really conscious of what you're putting out. Be conscious of what you're sending out. Be conscious of what your home says about you and what you believe. And be conscious of your own energy and what you're putting out, because you attract more of the same. We don't attract what we want. We don't manifest and visualize what we want. We attract what we already are.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's really profound. We attract what we already are.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's
everything, all
create.
of it,
Yeah,
whatever you want to create in your life, it starts with you. If you want a relationship, it starts with your relationship with yourself. If you want
yeah.
money, it starts with your relationship with money. Before it goes
Mm,
out, you've got to, yeah, just be really conscious. And sometimes you need to work with somebody to uncover what those things are. You know you have an issue because you keep repeating a pattern.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. I'm really looking forward to that book because I think that walking through that story with you and seeing how you address that is going to be really useful for many people. So keep us posted. Don't
I
forget.
will.
And thank you for that message. And where can everybody find information about your services and your resources? And we will have all of this on our pages too, by the way.
Yeah, I believe in giving away a lot of free resources. So I have a lot of them on my website, which is just lauravita.com. I'm also on Instagram at interior.alchemist. And I do
Mm.
I don't know, live things and give tips. And I am always open to questions. Um, Something that somebody's struggling with, whether it's feng shui or personal, I can at least offer some remedies or where you can look to find your answers. But a lot of what I offer is free. And then I have some ebooks that you can purchase for like, I don't know, under $5 that will take you through the process in your home. Some of them have videos embedded in them. So you can actually start to really use the map and understand what you're doing in your space.
Mm. Well, thank you. That is so generous. I know the universe always gives back. So those who give receive. And I can feel that from you for sure. And because we're here on the Epic Vision Zone, I have one last question. If your life were an epic story, what would the title be?
Well, piercing the veil. Because I mean, I believe that we have, there's our life that we live, and then there's this veil to the divine. And when we have moments where we can pierce through that and have that direct experience of divinity, um, that's, I believe, what we're here for and what we're here to share.
Mm, yes, thank you. That's absolutely perfect. Well, thank you again, Laura, for joining us here today. And once again, for information and to connect with Laura, go to the Epic Vision Zone bio pages where you will find all of her social media and direct contact information. And be sure to follow me on Instagram and look me up at janeapplegath.com and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Epic Vision Zone, and also on iTunes and Spotify and other streaming services. Sending you so much love and gratitude. This is the Epic Vision Zone, the ultimate source for extraordinary transformations.